Hey guys, this is Charles, the intern guy, and today's journey we're going to be listening to is Omar Murillo. Now, he's a realtor here in California, here in the Bay Area in the Silicon Valley, and today he's going to be sharing his journey. He's pretty successful, and we've known each other for quite a long time, so we're going to talk, we're going to laugh, and you're going to hear his unfiltered stories, and you'll even hear how he sold a celebrity's home twice. So, with that said, let's get it. I think I got a real good one today, guys. And so today I want to introduce you to the 2020 Bay Area Association of Realtors Achievement Club Pinnacle Award winner, the top 20 National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professional, the founder of Everhome Real Estate with sales in 2020 exceeding over $200 million. The 2020 Bay Area Association of Realtors Achievement Club Pinnacle Award winner, and the top 250 National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, and the founder of Everstate Real Estate, which I said earlier had over exceeding $200 million. So with that said, give it up for my boy. I don't know if you want to say Manuel or you want to say Omar Murillo. All right, give it up, give it up. All right, it's not for yourself, but I want to give it up for you. So, for those of you who don't know, so for those who don't know, today's guest is my boy Omar. We go way back. I would say over 20. You think maybe like 20 years now, bro?
90, yeah, for sure over 20 years. Yeah, we met in the late 90s.
Yeah, late 90s. And good God.
We look the same, though. We look the same.
We look the same, man. We look the same.
Exactly.
I know. 20 years have gone by. This is the guy who helped me get, you were the first person to give me my first house. We lived down the street when you got your first house and I was living in an apartment. Then you got your house. Then you influenced me to buy a house and we were right down the street from each other. We were both excited to get PlayStations. PS2s, that goes way back. PS2s, and then you moved to another city. I'm not going to give out, who we all are, but you moved to another city. And then I was like, oh man, you're leaving me. I went to go visit his house, y'all. And I was like, yeah, I got to move down here too. So I literally moved walking distance to his house. And then after that, you bounced and, you came back and literally again, we're like maybe like a 5-minute drive from each other. Right. So
yeah, we've always been pretty close together.
Yeah, pretty close, man. Our kids, our daughters have actually grown up together. And we just have two different paths. But in a lot of ways, I tell people, like, I feel like I'm in the people real estate as a recruiter. And you are, of course, in the real estate of the business, man. But before we go ahead and get into it, like I do with every guest, I got questions, man. I got questions. I got some rapid fire questions for you.
All right.
I'm drinking water for those who are watching on video, so don't get it twisted. Everybody knows I don't drink alcohol. All right. So to help people get kind of an understanding of who you are, to identify with you and see if they can actually take this same path, whether they're coming out of school, whether they're thinking about a career change and, all the other good stuff. I wanted to kind of see if, we could find some things that, you might identify with that, that you can answer that might identify with some people. I think I might have said that right. I don't know. So anyways, this will take just a few minutes. The last one, I went a little bit on because I was diving down deep because I had questions about some of the responses here already. So
we can go Jacques Cousteau, bro. Whatever you want, we can go Jacques on him.
We can go deep, or we can go deep, or way back. So let's go with the first one. So are you a texter or a talker? Do you like somebody like you always like to text, or do you prefer picking up the phone and talking to somebody?
So texter for work, talker for fun like this. I like talking to friends, but texter for work for sure.
All right, then, cool. Favorite city besides the one you live in? And for those you don't know, he does live in a very prominent area. It's pretty prominent. When you go voting in the E40s there at your your booth, I'm pretty much sure, But so favorite city besides the one you live in?
Sure. I love Cancun. I think Cancun, specifically Riviera Maya, but Cancun for everybody that doesn't know the little areas, but Cancun is definitely my favorite place to go.
All right. Oh yeah, Cancun is pretty nice. I ain't been there a while. Oh, just go really quick, going back to the E40. Last time you seen the E40?
The last time I seen him in person was at the voting booth. He was
Okay.
voting right next to me.
Last time I seen him, it was at Costco. So it's been a little bit of time, but he lives in our
Yeah,
area, so we always keep bumping into him.
right,
Um,
right.
so it's always funny when you bump into him because I'm like, that's E40. So last song you listened to?
The last song, Peaches by Justin Bieber,
Oh
the new
yeah.
song that he's got.
And damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, something, 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 something.
Something like that.
Yeah. What do you have that's an unpopular opinion?
Um, Unpopular opinion, probably my political takes, because I really like think about my feelings. I don't really go Democrat or Republican. So sometimes if I'm talking to somebody that's pro Republican or pro Democrat, I'm more common sense. I'm like, this makes sense to me on this take. This makes sense to me at that take. So I can, with politics being so, something that fires people up, it can definitely be unpopular when, you don't really agree 100% in this direction, and then you don't 100% agree in that direction.
Yeah, well, I unfortunately am really strong on the rent is too damn high movement, and so I'm going to stick with that movement. I'm really hardcore about that. So I'm just joking, man. I'm pretty much the same way with you. Favorite TV show or that you're caught up in during COVID? Because we're still in this COVID area.
My all-time favorite show is The Office. I don't know what it is about that show. I just find it so funny. I've watched that thing 3 times over, the series 3 times over, and then I'll watch highlights on YouTube when I'm bored. I'll watch. So for some weird reason, that's my all-time favorite show. But for COVID, right now I'm watching a show called Snowfall. It's a really, really cool show about the cocaine epidemic in the 80s. And you know what? For someone who doesn't like drink or do drugs or do anything like that, barely on the drinking, not the drugs. I don't do drugs at all. But
Okay, that's good to know. Let's
for
repeat
someone
that.
who
He does not
barely
do drugs. It's just
no,
alcohol
no, no. But for
sometimes.
someone who drinks very slightly, I'm fascinated by that whole like cartels and cocaine and
Bruh.
all these shows. I don't know why, but if you slap on some cocaine in the show, and I'm like, yes, let's watch it.
Let's watch this because you know it's going to be a roller coaster and someone is
Exactly.
going to die. I don't care.
Someone's gonna die.
No
And
one's
like, why are we
retiring.
fascinated?
No one's
Men like to
retiring with
see
a
people get shot up.
401k.
We love seeing people get shot up for some reason. I don't know. On TV anyway.
Yeah, I can't think of one. I mean, one particular show. I mean, I'm just all over the place. There's just so many things, but I try to watch something that at least has like at least 3 seasons. It has to have at least 3 seasons for me to
Yeah.
start watching it. I can't do the 1 seasons and be like, oh wait, next year. So
yeah, binging is all about binging. I agree.
Now here's another one. Last concert you been to?
I think the Jay-Z, the 444 tour. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember you posting up some stuff about that. I didn't really get out to too many concerts unless somebody gave me tickets to them. So yeah, I haven't really got out. But it was just always for me. It was just always about sports. Best concert though. Best concert you went to?
That's a tough one. Man, I've been to so many concerts, but the standout is the best. No, I just am a fan of music, and gosh, that's really hard. I seen Beyonce and Jay-Z and Mary J. Blige and Jay-Z. I don't know why Jay-Z keeps popping up right now, but his shows are pretty cool. I'm a big Jay-Z fan. I'm a hip hop fan. Um, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've been to that I'm like wow about. I've probably not been to like my favorite artist show for some reason, but Jay-Z stands out right now.
You know what? This is my second podcast, and 2 for 2, the Jay-Z and Beyonce concert. That everybody keeps bringing that up. So, but yeah, Jay-Z is up there. Guess you had a few more. At what age do you want to retire?
Never. I don't think I ever
good.
want to, because that's the nice thing about real estate. Someone can hit me up, and I think my goal is to just be more picky. The more successful you get, the pickier you can become, and just get like the choice business kind of thing. So if I'm 65 and somebody wants to pay me X dollars to list their house and I can do it, why am I going to retire? I'll do it. It's not a
All
big
right,
deal.
then. All right. All right. I kind of like that answer. At first, I was going to be like, what? But you know what? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a respectable
I,
answer. I like that.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. It's because it's, once you get in the groove and you know what you're doing, it's not that tough. Working with buyers is hard. I think I want to retire from working with buyers, even though, don't get me wrong, if you're listening, I love buyers. Call me, I'll help you find a house. But eventually, I only want to deal with sellers because it's so much easier.
All right. I only got a few through. I'm going to try to run through these really quick. Where and what was
Yeah.
your first job? Salary job.
McQuarters Stationery in Fremont, California.
What was the pay? Do you remember?
$5.15 per
He was
hour.
balling.
Oh yeah,
He
and
was
then after you get your taxes taken out, everything, my checks were coming in at a whopping like $95.
mm,
Like
mm.
nice.
All the females was like chasing after you, like he's a high roller.
Oh dude, I was just letting it rain everywhere, dude. Drip.
Pennies though, pale pennies. Ting
Yep,
ting ting
yep.
ting ting ting. Uh, what level of education do you have, if you don't mind sharing?
Some college, but I was never really into school. I consider myself pretty smart, but I was just never into school. I like learning. I love learning, but just the classroom thing wasn't for me. So I'm a forever sophomore at this point.
All right then. And last but not least, only because you were only there for, I don't know, you said a short amount of time. Are you still carrying school loans? If you are, I'm gonna be shocked. But are you still
No,
carrying school loans?
no student loan.
No, okay.
School, I went to San Jose State, was only $3,000 to go, so it wasn't that expensive.
Hey, you could basically pay for that with that
At the time,
$5 an hour.
it was feasible. So yeah, San Jose State, big shout out. No, it wasn't very expensive.
All right, well, cool. Well, first and foremost, again, I tell everybody I like to make my conversations very casual. I want to make sure people can identify with you. I tell people all the time, I don't, fact check. All right. So, everybody's opinion is going to be their opinion. Their journey is their journey. Mine is mine. Everybody's going to have a different perspective. Everybody who's going to be listening to this might have a different, thought process of how we should have said, have you done. But again, everybody's story and everybody's journey is different. And everybody's opinion is going to be different. So what you might hear today might not necessarily work for you. I feel like I got to get this disclaimer out, like, hey, this is a paid commercial, whatever, anything that you do or you say, whatever, is not a reflection of the blah, 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 blah. Also can cause diarrhea, headaches. Imagine. but I just want to go ahead and kind of jump into this because I got so many questions. I don't want to take up so much time. For those who can't see this right now, I'm doing this interview. And Omar is in a car, right? Because he's coming from one place to another. He's literally like maybe like a quarter of a mile from my house right now. But I'm wearing a hoodie right now, but I'm just probably sitting in my underwear. But so probably not a good time for him to come over. Hopefully you're wearing pants, bro. But
I am.
Okay, good. But yeah, he's in his car right now. And so I just want to kind of jump into this really quick. What city and state are you originally from?
So in the U.S., I'm originally from Fremont, California.
All right.
That's my first experience in the U.S. when I was 5.
Oh yeah. So what city basically was that at? What city were you in? Were you
in Fremont?
In Fremont. Okay, Fremont. I'm sorry I didn't hear that. So what about when you were younger? And this is a question I love to ask everybody. When you were younger, we're all in school. We're, at kindergarten, you probably had to write down like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And,
Yep.
the typical ones were like, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. What was the thing that, you knew that you wanted to be grow up, whatever what it was. I don't care what it was. What was it the one?
Hands down, bro. I wanted to be a Warrior NBA. I was like 5-year-old. If you're asking me what I wanted at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then 13 hit where my reason came and I saw that I wasn't tall and I wasn't going to get any taller. I mean, I'm a Mexican guy that's 5'10", dude. I can jump 3 inches off the ground on my best day. So at that point I realized that was shot. But growing up, NBA, Warriors, I mean, I was into Tim Hardaway, Chris Mullin, like the whole dream of being in the NBA. I stay out outside playing basketball until I made 10 free throws in a row. They had to be swishes. I was crossover, doing the killer crossover, Tim Hardaway style. Oh, that was the dream.
Just to be an NBA player. And then like eventually, when you're graduating, you
Mm-hmm.
progress, and now we're in high school, you're now realizing like, oh snap, I don't want to work here for $5 an hour for the rest of my life. Like what then did you start having in your mind? Like, okay, what do I want to do? You're like, I'm not going to be an NBA player. So now you're transitioning, right? You said you come to like a
Mm-hmm.
realization, like I'm 5'5" or I'm 5'6", like I'm not going to be an NBA player.
I'm
So,
not 5'5" or 5'6". I'm 5'10".
okay, at that time, maybe at the time you were 5'8" or 5'6" when you were thinking about it. Okay,
Bro,
5'10".
when you're under 6 feet, bro, every inch counts. So you're over 6 feet tall. You don't even know what I'm talking about. But anybody listening, if you're under 5'10" or 6 feet, every inch counts.
Okay, so 5'10" and a half and 3/4 inch, right?
There
So,
you go. There you go.
so what now? What now is in your mind? Like, what are you thinking? Like, you want to do? Like,
So when I gave up the NBA dream, I honestly didn't have too much direction. A teenager, you're just thinking about girls and thinking about school, and that's pretty much it. I can't say that I had some vision or some plan at 13 years old. Like, I didn't. I was just like most kids, probably just living day by day, looking to have some fun. I think uh, it wasn't until like I was 18, 19 years old where that started coming into clarity.
yeah. So at 18, 19 years old, it's starting to come into clarity. Where are we at? Like, what are we doing? You're 18, 19.
So
Where are you starting
I'm
to like
working.
progress?
I'm working for one of the richest people in the world, Richard Ellison. No, what's his name? Larry Ellison. I'm,
What?
but hold on, it sounds fancier than it is. I'm working for Larry Ellison, cleaning his copy machines at Oracle. So, so basically, I'm the guy that everybody calls. I had a car, I had a pager, and as soon as I got a page, I would go and clean Oracle's copy machines, printers. I would go up to Larry Ellison's office and clean his copy machine and change his paper and toner. People get a paper jam. I'm that guy.
Did you
So
ever meet him? Did you ever meet him?
no. He had like three what do they call receptionists at his window, and everything was like you couldn't see.
Okay, then. All
So yeah. So I mean, but that's what I was doing at 18. So my mom one day, she asked me, and she said, so let me see, how much are you making? She asked me something like that, and I show I told her, or I showed her my paycheck, and she laughed.
Wait a
She
second.
laughed.
Wait a second. Your mom laughed at you because of your money?
Yeah. Yeah, she laughed at me. She said, okay. She said, why don't you come work with me? Because both my parents are realtors. So, she said, why don't you come work with me for 6 months? And I thought about it, and I said, she said, you'll make more than that. And I said, okay, fine. So I decided to do that. And we had some, sort of arrangement where she would pay for my car, which was like $200 a month, and gas of $50 a month. I probably making $250. That all
Okay.
I remember was,
One
so it was
second.
probably like double what I was making. I don't know. Go ahead.
No, you're breaking
Can you
up
hear
just a little
me?
bit. Yeah, I can hear you now. So you were
Okay.
just so she was covering maybe your car, giving you some cash in the
Yeah.
in
So,
the pocket. So is this like now this is the journey that we're getting into
mhm.
of real estate? All right.
Yeah.
So so this is really you're following your parents' footsteps, or they were just really kind of giving you advice, or you're
They
starting to
were needing
realize,
help. My parents were really busy. They were pretty active realtors, and they just needed help. And they were, reaching out to me because I didn't really have any kind of a career or anything. I'm a 19-year-old kid. So they said, yeah, come work for us, because they needed help. I started working with them just as an assistant, getting lunch, making copies, running errands, and that's
okay,
kind of how it started. And, so that was the beginning. So I would say for like the first, year, I was just the errand boy, making just enough to scrape by.
Okay, so
Again, you're 18, 19 years old. I mean, that's pretty typical, I think.
no, I think this is actually pretty interesting. I think this is actually pretty good because, think about it. If you didn't go to college, and let's say you did go to college and it's your first year and you get an internship, you're not balling out of control in your first
Yeah,
year. You're not making big money in your first internship in comparison to these days. These days is a completely different story, right?
sure.
But back then, I mean, people were not getting paid for an internship, right? They were
Right, right.
learning how to craft their skill set, right?
Yep.
So, so you start this journey, and what year is this? About what
This is
time?
in 1998, 1998,
1998.
97, 98.
97, 98, which is really good because this leads up into how around the time frame you and I kind of met around that time frame.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
I remember buying your first house, and getting to your first place. But at that time, I think you had like another good year or so under your belt in real estate, right?
Yeah. So that was probably in my first full year of real estate.
Your
You know,
first
my
year.
first full year. But I mean, mind you, the house was only like 130,000. The house, you know, that's how much I paid for my first house in 1998 or 1999, I
And it was
think.
a
One of
mansion,
the.
bro. It was a
Oh
mansion.
yeah,
I remember it.
right. It was the hood. It was the hood, straight up.
Hey,
No, no,
you could cook, use the bathroom, and watch TV all in one
and
spot.
and touch all the walls of the house. Yes, exactly, exactly. But you know what? That house made me $30,000 in 4 months.
Hey, I cannot deny it because I remember when you sold it, I said, okay, I'm buying one. I'm buying one right now.
Yeah.
And
So
so
I
you
mean,
were really my inspiration to buy my first house, to be quite honest, when I was younger.
yeah, that was the beginning. That was the beginning. But yeah, I mean, that was my first full year was 1998. That's when I got my license and I decided to become a realtor. You know, I'd say I never would have thought that this was the journey I would take or where I'm at now. But at the time, I was just like, well, I got nothing else to do. That's better. So I was making a little bit of money, just enough to get by. And then, as I did more, and actually I repeat the same philosophy because people always reach out to me asking, how do I do this or how do I become a realtor? I'm gonna tell them, look, this is exactly the path that I took. Just find yourself a mentor, find yourself a realtor that you want to just mimic and follow and just do exactly what he does, copy paste.
Yeah.
It's not that hard, but I was doing was learning, thinking I was learning. I was just running errands, doing this, doing that, and I would pick things up little by little.
No, I mean, I think that's um, a really good thing that you're sharing with people because I think at least for me, I see how much you work and I've seen like your progression and I've seen some of my other friends also, the good guy realtor. Let me throw a shout out for Ack Penny, Ranson. I think there's Anna Lynn, whatever. I know also Anna Lynn, who's also a realtor. A few friends of mine who are realtors. Um, and I think there's this big perception. We see now that the house is what they're selling for. Right now, we're in a very hot market. We're seeing your successes. We might see your house. We might see your car, and we're thinking like, I could do that. And we think that we're just gonna jump out there and like, make all this big money, quit your day job, and just be like, dude, I'm gonna do this. And it's like it takes some time to progress, right? It's not just
Yeah.
like overnight. Well, maybe there are some people who have connections, they get into a right spot and they have some support and they can actually do that. But I think what you're telling me and from what I'm hearing is that that's not for everybody. That doesn't happen for the most people.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's different paths. The thing is that I'm coming from a mom and pop operation. I'm coming from a place where, um, I didn't know any better. I didn't know anything. And even my parents, they were a big fish in a small bowl.
Uh,
And I've learned that there are definitely ways for you to push this process along faster. So a new agent, if I'm meeting a new agent, I think that I can give them tips that'll save them over 10 years of time. I've been doing this for 22 years plus, and if I knew then, what I know now, I think I would have been here faster. But at the same time, it was my journey, so I'm happy with it.
all right, cool. What about now for those, I guess I got to throw this out here. So for those who do not know, or who've never worked with Omar, this is your first time. You can go to his site. Is it what's your website?
OmarMurillo.com.
So if you go onto his website or you follow him on social media, we'll give you a chance to give some shouts out. You'll get probably a glimpse of who his mother is or find out who she is as well. And let me tell you, man, I can see like why you work so hard, because I have never seen two other people, a duo like your mom and dad. Like I've never seen, I mean, I've seen some good people who are married and they hustle, but bro, I don't know where they get this energy from. I can't keep up with those two. I
Yeah,
mean, am I wrong?
my dad's turning 70 this year and my mom's turning 60 this year. If I told her, if people know this, oh, she'd kill me. But eventually, either that or I'm going to become older than her at some point. But yeah, at this age, and they're working the way they're working and they're as successful as they are, it's just crazy. Like it's 70. My dad's 70 this year. It's
So
crazy.
would I be wrong to say that their their ethics kind of transformed over or just been transferred over to you, or that you were really pushed to be that way because that's just the way that you were taught? Because I see the same kind of work ethic. I see the same
Yeah.
work ethic.
Yeah, I mean, it was school by sight. You know, my parents really never sat down and trained me per se. It was all they led by example. You know, so it kind of to me they were the example of how to get to where you want to get,
Yeah.
and they would throw out a lot of nuggets along the way. Very simple but true life nuggets that really um, like made a big impact on my life. And I know that you like a lot of the ones that my dad drops.
Oh
You know,
man. Yo, your
you know,
dad has the best jewels he be dropping. What is my favorite one? I posted up at work, and I would leave it up for everybody. I even tell my kids to this day, a
yeah,
lazy person works twice as hard. And
yeah,
I
it's
was like,
very
what does
true.
he mean by that? And it was like, yeah, because they have to go back and do it again because they didn't do it right the
Yeah,
first time
if you
before.
don't do it right, you're just gonna do it again, and you have to undo it, and then you got to go back and do it, and
Uh,
just take the time, do it right the first time.
hey, until then, I tell my kids that all the time. A lazy person
Yeah.
works twice as hard.
And then he also got you buy crappy or you buy cheap, you buy twice. So basically, he always my dad he has like the nicest of everything, but he may take a long time to collect it because he's saving up for that one
Yeah.
really good quality whatever.
I've been shopping with them recently. I think it was last what was it? We're in 2020 at the end of
Yeah,
2020.
we went over to the outlets. Remember?
Yeah, we went to the outlets. Of course, they outbuy me, of course. But I went shopping with them.
They're dangerous. They're
Yeah, oh
dangerous to hang
yeah.
out with.
I can see your mom. She's like, Mijito, this is a very good jacket. You have to get it. I'm
You
like,
should
how much
really
is it?
get it.
Three
It
thousand
would
dollars.
look
I
so
said,
good on you.
okay, yes. And then here I am
But you
walking
only
out
need
with
to buy it one time. Just get
and
it. You just need to
and
buy one good jacket.
I know. And there I am walking out with a $900 jacket, coming home, telling
And
my
it
wife,
goes, Charles, I've had this jacket since 1998. He said, look at it. It's perfect. Perfect.
hey, and they're always clean. I mean, they do not look. I'm not going to talk about their age, but they do not look like their age, And I love them. They're like family to me. So I have to ask now that
Yeah.
as time has passed, it's been 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Some people might look at you like a great realtor. Some might look at you as just kind of like, hey, you're a high roller now, or hey, you're a professional. You've been in the business. Everybody has different perspectives, right?
Mm.
I had to ask this one question. What was the big purchase? One of your bigger purchase, not a home, but like something that you just, that first commission check comes in and you had to splurge on something like you like, I got it. Like, what do you remember?
Man, so I didn't start making like serious ducats until like 2005. So I was in real estate like 7, 8 years
Mhm.
already. So I don't remember the first check because I don't think I was making anything significant, maybe just enough to live on my own.
Yeah.
So where I would like, but I mean, my first, I remember it's during the like right before the market crash when everybody was rolling, like everybody had money that was in real estate. Uh, I bought a really nice S500 Mercedes, like with rims, and I put a stereo in it. It was clean. I mean,
Oh,
it
I
was
know.
super clean. You remember it?
Yes, I
It
do
was dope.
remember that.
Yeah.
I was like,
So
come
to
pick me
me,
up. Let's drive
being able to
around.
drive, yeah, I mean, I remember putting in that Tupac song, "Picture me rolling in my 500 Benz," you know. And I was like, yeah, that was me. I was like, I can't believe it. This is my car. But that I think that's like the first like full on splurge that I just did for myself.
Yeah. I can't remember what I know. Well, a lot of people know me also not from being just a drinker or not being a smoker or doing drugs, but people also know that I am very cheap, aka frugal. So, for me, it's just kind of like, ooh, what'd you do? It's like, oh, I bought some sunglasses. What? Yeah, they were a few $100s. They're like, whoa, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
But
You want to know? You want another nugget though that my parents gave me about that? So
yeah,
this is the school that I was taught. Just so you know, watch that they always say, "Wait," and it's a Spanish saying, but in English translates, "Weight moves the donkey." So basically, if you put weight on a donkey, it's what makes it go forward. Basically,
yeah,
so my parents always taught me that, like, look, they were happy when I bought that Mercedes because they knew that they had a motivated employee that was gonna work their ass off because they wanted them to be like, how he's gonna want to make money because he owes this kind of money, right?
yeah,
So they've always thought, if you don't spend money, you have no motivation to make money. That was their mentality. That's what they kind of instilled in me, which is terrible advice financially, just FYI. Like I didn't learn that until like more recently into my adult life, that about saving is important as well. But for them it was like, look, you only live once, enjoy your money, spend it, make it, work hard, and that's just repeat,
repeat,
repeat.
repeat, repeat.
And but unfortunately, like situations like the market crash, I didn't know when the market crashed, I didn't know what it was like not to make money because that was out of my control. My whole industry was crapped out.
Yeah.
So there's definitely not the best advice, but there's truth in it too. So you just kind of have to balance everything out. Everything in excess is wrong, right? Everything.
So, what skills do you think somebody, who wants to probably get to your status, or
Hmm.
somebody who wants to become a realtor, um,
Yeah.
what kind of skills do you think that person needs?
Uh, well, I mean, skills. I think you need to have people skills. I mean, you need to be someone who's willing to uh, deal with the public and personalities and be patient, and someone who's willing to be a successful realtor. Because I mean, there's a difference between being a realtor and a successful realtor. So
Yeah,
if you're asking me to how to be a successful realtor, you have to be resilient. You have to be never satisfied where you're at in the sense of like education. You have to continually progress because the
yeah,
market will catch up. Always there's going to be other people, but I always try to stay ahead of the curve on everything I do. So I always have to be up to date with everything. I always have to push, hey, are my videos better than that guy's? Or is my brochure better than that guy's? And everyone takes ideas, but the fact that you're always consistently thinking about it is where that's the world you have to live in. You
yeah,
constantly have to be. So I don't, that's what it's gonna take. And you have to be available 24/7. Unfortunately, that until
yeah.
you get to a point where you can change that. But in the beginning, when you're just starting out, you hustle 24/7.
Hey, when you said being available, I know in my job, I find myself, I'm going to be on vacation. It'll be a week. I still get texts. I still get phone calls. So I'm still responding. It's still about a hustle. It's still about a grind. I will say though, we are in Europe, you and I. I think I don't even know what city it was. I'm not sure if it was Barcelona or
We
Madrid.
were we were in Paris actually.
I think it was in Paris, right? And so
Yeah.
for those who are listening, we're in Paris. The time is way off, right? Like in the US, it has to be hecka early in the morning. And we're like in the evening time. I can't remember the time frame, but all I know is when we were exhausted, but you are getting phone calls US time at like 4:30 in the morning because they know that you must still be awake just to ask you a question like maybe we should, counter offer $5,000, I mean, just different things like that. And I find that, with that said, I want to find out from you what are some things that you like and not just using that example, but what are some things that you like and or dislike about
Sure.
business? I mean, and I don't, well,
So
I don't want to compromise your business, saying like, well, I hate people who are like this, like, no, you love everybody, but just like,
the
wait a second, 1 second, you're breaking up a
story
little
that
bit.
you said is the perfect. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you? Okay. The story that you just shared is the perfect example of both. So I'll tell you right now, that was 2018 when we were on our trip, right?
Yeah,
2018. So in 2018, okay, we're in Paris. We're at the soccer game. I'm at the soccer game for the Paris and Manchester game or something like that. And I'm in the stadium and I close over the phone the biggest deal I did the entire year. It was like $2 million house in San Carlos, like 60,000. Like it was really, really like exciting for me.
yeah,
Biggest commission, but I'm on vacation. But how do I not? I have to work. How do I not turn that down? So that was like the coolest thing. At the same time, like I can never really fully be on vacation unless I always joke around with my family and I say, well, this vacation just got more expensive if I don't take this call. Like because if I don't pick up this call, this vacation is not a $3,000 vacation. This is like a $30,000 vacation because I just lost money that I could have had,
well,
right?
when you look at it that way, that's true. That is true
I
when you look at it
mean,
that way.
so I mean, it's a tough, and I tell people that because people will criticize, it's like, oh, you shouldn't work that way, or you have to set boundaries, and I get it, and I agree. But if you know you have a phone call that you can get 30 grand, are you not gonna pick up that phone call? If you have 30 grand calling you, right? And I'm not a rich man, but it's, hey, to me that's exciting.
Yeah, 30 grand,
How do
bro.
I,
Some people make
how
that
do
in a year. So yeah,
how do I
30
not pick
grand is big.
how do I not pick up that phone call? That's my point. It's a tough world to live in when you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta answer my phone call. Or if I miss it, people will go to the next guy sometimes. If I don't know them, if they're referred to me, yeah, they'll wait for me. But if it's just like an online call that saw me on Yelp or something, they
Yeah.
just call the next guy. So that's the pro and the con. That hey, you could do something as exciting as that why there's plenty. I'm in this like wide, you can go like, oh my gosh, like there's a wide driveway and they're like waiting for me, like they couldn't just have gone around me.
Again, for those who are listening, he's taking this call. This guy's a busy man, so I had to catch him even when he was driving. So, yes, he's parked literally like around the corner from my house. But we're not going to do this in my house because it's looking like trash. So he's taking the call from around the corner. But
That's so funny.
but it is true. But yeah, I can imagine it's just never ending. There's a great song that I play from a TikTok that says if you can type it in a message, don't call my phone. Like, but it's still, I know that that's my bread and butter, and I have to keep my customers happy, right? So
Yeah.
I get it. So what about here's a little bit more of a to take a little bit of lighter note. If you had to compare your realtor skills to a rapper or a singer, who would you be?
I'd like to thank Kanye, even though I think he's crazy. I mean, but I mean, he's also very innovative, and he's always thinking, and he's doing things that will cross work with what he's doing. So if I had to choose a rapper, I don't know, probably Kanye, just because the creativity aspect,
Yeah, I was
not the
thinking you're gonna say.
craziness factor.
I thought you're gonna say something like "Old Dirty Bastard" or or
Is that
DMX.
because of why? Because I'm an old dirty bastard?
I thought you're gonna be like DMX. He's like, "Oh, what about his house? I want you to get his job."
Nah.
Or his
Well, you
home.
said skills. You said skills. So I
Yes,
said,
yes,
well,
yes, yes.
he made his living he initially made his living as a producer, then a rapper. Now he's like a business mogul. So I'm thinking, okay, well, that's along the lines of how I kind of want to see myself.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, that part. You want to see that part. No, I get it. I get it. So, what advice would you give to anybody who is trying to get in? Like, what are some key tips? Like, what are some jewels you would drop on somebody if I said, "Hey, Omar, can I come to you a few times?" I've come to you a few times saying, like, you know what, I'm really thinking about switching up the game and starting to dive into real estate. Now I look back myself 2 years with this market that we're living in now, where people are just making random offers, 100,000 above asking price. I'm kicking myself. I didn't do it, but just out of curiosity, like what advice would you give? Like if even I came to you right now, like, Omar, bro, I'm thinking about just doing real estate 100%. Like, what advice would you have for me?
Sure. So first thing is find a mentor. Find a mentor that you want to emulate to some degree. That's
Yeah,
number one, because that it's like having a Sherpa going up Mount Everest. You can go do it yourself, or you could have somebody that's been there 50 times and just lead the way.
yeah,
Kind of follow. You're gonna end up where you want to end up. So to me, finding a mentor is super critical. And then just understanding the business and the process of things. You're not gonna make money for like the first year. You're just not. Nobody is. You're not gonna make a living the first year. You have to just be willing to put in the work, just completely dive in. If you can afford to do that in that position, then great. Then that's a luxury. And if you can't, then you have to transition into real estate. And that's what most people do. You have to kind of find a transition point.
yeah,
So I would say that's the bare bones basic advice. That if you can find a mentor, you put your heart and soul into it and be prepared to be broke for a minute. You can definitely do something. And just be prepared that the lifestyle, make sure that you're okay with the lifestyle, because if you like getting those vacations where you're off completely, if you like being off at 5 p.m., if you like your weekends, I mean, that's a tough. I mean, there's a huge compromise for success in this business. It's like the more successful you get, the more it's like, oh,
yeah,
damn. And you have to scale yourself back to have a life.
yeah. So that's the hardest part I find with a lot of people. Well, first of all, I think it's very good advice. I love the fact that you threw it in there. Just don't, if you can afford it, go ahead and jump all in. But at finding a mentor, finding some really good people. There's a lot of good people I know who are realtors I would want to connect with. But it's I'm hearing what your journey was, and it wasn't just like peaches and cream. You were working for the hardest workers in the business. You know, so I can only imagine, that that first step is not always going to be cake, right? And you
No.
got there. But I'm looking at these awards, all these different awards that I mentioned at the very beginning. That was in 2020 during the height of COVID. So
I had
that,
my best year last year ever. Last year was my best year ever,
and
which
this
is
is a time,
crazy.
that's a time where, hey, business is shutting down. Unemployment's at 10%. I mean, people are walking around like scared with masks on, right? I mean, I'm not sure if it was the mask you covered your face and people are like, no, he is kind of attractive. Let's call him up. Or or were people just kind of like, you know what, the interest rates were really low or whatnot. But still, I mean, it's just a testament to what I see, at least from your work ethics. So, that's awesome, man. So I have to ask and share a story. I'm not even
Yeah.
sure if I want to use names in this story. But I guess maybe I should lead in with asking you a question. Have you ever, and I'll let you lead because you go say if you can say this person's name or not. Have you ever or ever partnered with anybody on selling a home of a celebrity?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
More than one, or one just or one that I might know of?
No, just hammer time.
So we can say his name. We can say it.
of, of course. Why not?
Hammer time. So
Yeah, you've been there. You went.
yeah.
You were there when we were selling it.
Well, I didn't know if I could say it or not. I don't know if there's non-disclosures you signed with the brother or
No,
not.
well, no, because he wasn't our client. He had already sold the house. We resold MC Hammer's house.
But
So
the first time, I believe your mom was the one who.
my mom was. So I give myself credit for even getting her the a buyer on that, because I was a kid, and the neighbor who I used to talk to all the time, I basically introduced him to my mom, and my mom met this super wealthy guy from another country, and he ended up buying the house from MC Hammer when he was losing it. So when he went to bankruptcy, went through all that process of his house, my mom represented the buyer at the time. And then fast forward years later, now I'm in real estate. I'm working with my mom, and we co-listed MC Hammer's house. And that's when you went up there. We drove the Maybach, all that good stuff.
Oh man, that was a beautiful day. That was the first time I got to drive in a Maybach, or
And you
I
and you
didn't
know
want to
that
drive
that
in it. I was just
Maybach
like, let me just sit in it.
and you know that Maybach was sitting there year round, and like it had like no miles on it because this guy only was there 4 days a year. That's how rich this guy was. He had a multi-million-dollar mansion with multiple pools and servants, and the house was like in a Maybach just sitting in the driveway covered, and he never went. He literally never went. It's just crazy, right?
That's crazy. Well, I don't want to say I'm not sure if he's still a client or not, and I don't want to get him in trouble. But I've
Nah.
been saying a story about like who he bought the house for or whatever. So I'm not going to get into that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We'll leave
I
that.
don't think we should
We'll
say
leave
that.
that alone. We'll leave that alone.
Yeah,
But
we won't say that part. Yeah, yeah.
we won't say that. We'll leave that on the after hours with Charles Martin, the intern guy.
There you go. We got to turn down the lights for
But you
that.
know what? I have to say one. I have to say one thing. When we went to that house, bro, bruh, that house looked like 1991, 92. Like, I was like, they didn't upgrade this house at all. They left everything the way it is. I felt I walked in and I could hear too legit.
It looked like the Too Legit video, all the black marble and the white pillars, and it was basically a time capsule
It
of
was,
the
bro.
the Too Legit to Quit video.
And then you saw like he had the wall built in with with for all of his awards. He had what else did he had? He had the indoor pool. He even had like a
Remember the jacuzzi in his master bedroom was like a 30-person jacuzzi?
yes, it was a 30-person jacuzzi. Like his bedroom was like 1,800 square feet that led into the
Had
pool.
a humongous fireplace in the middle, but like it's like a giant like outdoor fireplace that you would see at a restaurant over like
It was unbelievable. And we're sitting there like, what was he thinking? There was still the hammer on the floors, like everything. I think he even had a salon
he
and
had a salon, he had the movie theater. That
yeah,
place was built like a hotel. Honestly, the infrastructure in that place was ridiculous. He overbuilt that house, and he basically spent over like $20 million to build it, something like that, I think. And but he only sold it for like five.
yeah, it was crazy. But I remember when he moved in Fremont, I was like, there's Hammer's house. Like you would drive on the street from the freeway and
Oh yeah.
I would just sit on there.
You
But
can see that house from the 880. I mean, that's how, and it's far. I mean, I would see Hammer at the bank. I would ride my bike as a kid because I grew up in the Mission area of Fremont. And I went to my very first checking account was at the Bank of America on Mission. And he pulled up in his Ferrari one time. And I was like, and that's at the height of just imagine, bro, imagine seeing like, who's the biggest celebrity right now? Like
you saw
right now.
Drake, like you saw Drake or somebody.
Drake. Imagine you're just listening to music and Drake is your number one guy, right? That's what Hammer was at the time. And I'm riding my bicycle, and then Hammer comes up. It's like Drake coming up because he was the biggest pop star at the time.
Question: did he offer you a job?
No, no, but he did talk to me though.
Yeah,
I
he was
remember he
cool.
talked to me.
Well, let's take it even 10 years. Let's fast forward like 7 or 8 years after I went to that house with you when you guys put it back on the market, and we actually bumped into him at a restaurant. We were coming.
That's right. We did
We
see
turned
him.
around and we said we're in Oakland, California. We're in Oakland, California. We bump into him, and we like Hammer, and he turned around. He's like, "What's up?" He's like, "Can we get a picture?" He's like, "Yeah." He paid for something. They came over. He took a picture with us. I mean, Hammer's
Yeah.
cool. I catch him on Clubhouse. I see him on TikToks and everything else. So he's real cool, man. So, anyways, hey, I know that I appreciate you taking the time. As you wrap up, feel free to stop by the house, to say what's up. But I want to thank you for hopping on this call. I knew this wasn't going to be I know it's not. We can go probably for 2 or 3 hours, but I had Taco Bell. All right, I had some Taco Bell about an hour or two ago. So let's just keeping it real, all right? So, so with that said, man, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for sharing just a little bit of insight. If anybody is interested in connecting with you, how and where can they connect with you? This is your time to give some shout outs for how they can connect with you on any kind of social media platform, or even, even partner with you in business.
Yeah, so I mean, you can find me at the Omar Murillo uh, for Instagram, at the Omar Murillo, OmarMurillo, and that's my Instagram. That's where you can easily find me. Also on YouTube, it's just Ask Omar. Check out my videos. I try to produce a video, pretty regularly.
All right, cool, man. Cool, man. Website. Do I give out your phone number right now? His phone number is four. No, five. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, you can find me on my website, omarmurillo.com, and yeah, definitely hit me up.
All right, man. Well, cool. Well, hey, I want to thank you for hopping on here. I knew I wanted to have you as a guest, so thank you, bro. I appreciate it, and hopefully I can do something again with you. Maybe we can do some classes or something, and we can go from there, man. So
yeah, for sure, bro.
All right, man.
There's a cop pulling up next to me, so I better run.
All right, bro. You take care, man. Don't get that ticket. All right,
bro. Take care, man.
All right.
We'll see ya.
All right, bye.